And when we say, woe is me, and everybody can probably identify with woe is me, right? Has anybody ever gone through a tough time? And you said, God, why me? Yeah, I had a friend one time, his wife was pregnant, and his wife came home and she said, the bathtub is clogged and you have to fix it. And he said, okay, easy enough fix. Goes to the lumber store, gets a bottle of like liquid plumber or some kind of acid. I think he went and got liquid plumber first, pours it down the drain, nothing. He said, well, I'm going to go get some acid, some strong acid. He goes back to the hardware store, comes back, pours the acid down the sink. And he's like, uh-oh. Like the acid ends up eating the porcelain and creates a big rust spot. And he says, all right, well, he tells his wife, she's like, you got to change that bathtub. And they were going to change the bathtub anyways. Wasn't a big deal. So he goes, starts to tear out all the surround and everything, and ends up figuring out that this bathtub is a huge cast iron bathtub, and it's like built in place. And he thinks, I'm never going to get this thing out. He says, I'm just going to have to hit it with a sledgehammer and bust it apart because it's cast iron. Takes a sledgehammer, hits it, wham! And a big old chunk of the bathtub flies off and hits the toilet and shatters it into like 500 pieces. And his wife comes in and says, what are you doing? He says, it's time to remodel the bathroom. She said, I'm going to stay with my mom until you get this done. She's like 8 months pregnant. The baby's pretty close. And so he gets in there, and he ends up having to gut his whole bathroom because of one choice that he made to use acid to try to clear a drain. And you could look at that situation, and he could have been like, woe is me. Not woe like whoa, like, I can't believe I'm in this situation. It would have been real easy for him to say, God, why am I in this situation? God, why am I having to deal with this? And that seems like a pretty extreme example of a lot of unfortunate events happening, but things like that happen to us all the time. And it might be kind of comical, and when he told the story to me, it was very comical. I laughed. But a lot of times when we're dealing with situations like that in our own life, they're very real. And sometimes we look at the situation in our lives and we say, God, why am I having to deal with what I'm having to deal with?